Any
Aye.
opposed? Thank you, Ms. Simichek. Any opposed?
Passes 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor. First up on tonight's agenda, item 3A. Dr. Galligan, you have a presentation for us.
Good evening, President Carber, members of the board. Guest Dr. Finch, tonight I am so pleased to share with you just some information about our summer programming in 2026. We'll see if that presentation gets put up there. But as you know, Deer Valley has a strong history of providing summer learning and enrichment opportunities for our students. These programs help bridge academic gaps, strengthen grade level readiness, and build student confidence. During this presentation, I'll highlight student enrollment, measurable growth goals for academics, enrichment opportunities, and the community partnerships that make this work possible. And then finally, this presentation reinforces the importance of sustaining and extending opportunities so that Deer Valley students can benefit in the future. This is one of my favorite slides right here. Here is a big picture view of the impact of our summer 2026 programming. Over 55 days from May 22nd to just this past Friday, Deer Valley offered 38 unique programs serving 5,466 students. Collectively, students completed nearly 24,000 hours of learning and play, while our programs provided more than 48,000 free, healthy meals. Our credit recovery opportunities also help students remain on track with 36 middle school and 1,589 high school courses successfully recovered. These numbers reflect the tremendous reach of our summer programs and our continued commitment to supporting students through academic, social, and enrichment opportunities throughout the summer. One of our flagship summer programs is Jumpstart. It is a no-fee summer program for students in our 10 Title I schools. It also provides targeted tutoring for third grade students who may be subject to the retention requirements under the Arizona's Move On When Reading Law. Most importantly, students made significant academic gains. Math proficiency increased by an average of 42 percentage points across grades 1 through 6. ELA proficiency increased by 18 points in grades 4 through 6, while students in grades 1 through 3 achieved an average literacy gain of 21 points. Growth was also evident across the primary DIBELS literacy indicators. Through targeted small group instruction, STEM activities, and enrichment opportunities, Jumpstart helps reduce summer learning loss and better prepares students for success in this upcoming year that we actually started. Jumpstart focuses on closing learning gaps through strong school, family, and community partnerships. 10 teacher prep program teachers, also known as our TPP teachers, worked alongside our Jumpstart teachers, gaining classroom experience while providing additional student support in the classroom. Our 10 school safety officers also rotated between both campuses, building relationships and participating in reading and math activities. We are proud of our strong community partnerships and grateful to Red Robin and Blessings in a Backpack for providing free snack packs to every student and their siblings. As we know, communication is a key component of any program, and that is true of Jumpstart also. Each parent received a personalized email, multiple of them, from their child's teacher that included assessment results, progress updates, and positive feedback. Our Jumpstart students in grades 1 through 3 demonstrated strong early literacy growth. And let me just explain. I mentioned to you grades 1 through 3 earlier. That was our typical reading and math group. The group that I'm talking to you right now are our Boost group, and those are the kids who had significant gaps in literacy. So they showed strong early literacy growth over these 3 weeks. Overall, those scores increased from approximately 42% to 63%, a huge gain for kids. Growth was evident at every grade level, with first grade increasing nearly 12 points, second grade approximately 21 points, and third grade by nearly 30 points. Students also improved across many DIBELS indicators, including letter sound fluency, word reading, and oral reading fluency. We know that focused summer intervention can strengthen foundational reading skills and help students begin the the new school year better prepared for reading success in their next grade level. Jumpstart students also demonstrated meaningful growth in both ELA and mathematics. In grades 4 through 6, the average ELA proficiency increased from 56% to 75%, an 18 percentage points gain. Sixth grade showed especially strong progress, increasing by 33 points. Math results across grades 1 through 6 were equally encouraging, with average proficiency increasing from 33% to 74%, a gain of 42 percentage points. Every grade level demonstrated substantial improvement for our students. These amazing outcomes highlight the value of focused instruction, small group support, and engaging learning experiences in helping students strengthen essential skills and enter the next school year ready. Our next program is EL Writers Workshop. It provides focused writing support this year for 76 students in grades 1 through 5, representing every Deer Valley Elementary School. Hosted at Mountain Shadows Elementary from May 26th through June 12th, the program also provided transportation, breakfast, and lunch to ensure students could participate fully. EL students strengthened their writing through targeted instruction and engaging hands-on activities. Based on pre- and post-program Azella rubric data, 48% of participating students increased their overall writing score by at least one proficiency level. This progress reflects the value of focused summer learning in building both student skills and confidence, especially in learning a new language. Our secondary English Learners Writers Workshop served 31 students in grades 6 through 12, representing all 3 middle schools and all 5 high schools. Hosted at Deer Valley Middle School from May 26th through June 12th, the program included transportation and again breakfast and lunch. The outcomes were especially encouraging. 88% of students improved their writing by at least one proficiency level, and 12% advanced 2 levels. In addition, one student successfully recovered an SEI English course needed for high school graduation. This is one of our strong programs for students who are just learning the English language, and this is just another way to bring them to that language through the written expression. Our extended school year program provides special education and related services at no cost to eligible students with disabilities beyond the regular school year. These services align with each student's IEP and focus on maintaining critical learning skills and minimizing regression. This year, the program served 145 students from preschool through 12th grade. Of those students, 68% qualified based on critical learning skills, while 45% qualified due to regression and recoupment needs. Some students met both eligibility criteria, and the programs helped tremendously. Students were supported by a highly skilled team that included 16 special education teachers, 36 paraprofessionals, nurses, speech therapists, occupational and physical therapists, and specialists in hearing and visual impairment. We were also pleased that 61% of our ESY staff returned, providing valuable consistency for students and families. I will say the programs that I've just shared with you also, we have consistent programming across our schools, I would say for the last 6 years. And that consistency has become a foundation for our community. Here's a cool one. Through our partnership with WestMech, 42 DVUSD middle school students representing 15 schools attended the annual summer career camp. From June 8th through June 10th, students explored career pathways through hands-on experiences at 4 WestMech campuses. Opportunities ranged from coding and robotics, welding, and automotive technology to healthcare, veterinary science, law and public safety, and skilled trades. These immersive experiences allowed students to discover their interests, develop practical skills, and better understand the education and training connected and needed for future careers. Another flagship program for us is the Taipei Culture Camp. This camp provided 311 DVUSD students with a week of cross-cultural learning, teamwork, and fun. Supported by 15 school volunteers, high school volunteers, students participated in art, cooking, exercise, dance, and language activities while gaining valuable global perspectives. At the camp's culminating celebration, All 10 student groups shared what they had learned through performances for their families and community. We were also honored to have 2 Arizona state legislators recognize the students for their openness and commitment to learning. Our gifted summer camps provided incoming 1st through 8th grade students with 2 engaging weeks of full-day enrichment experiences at Union Park Elementary. In Cruising into Summer, students explored ecology, sustainability, water science, very necessary in Arizona, culture and geography through hands-on learning and creative activities. During Passport to the Parks, students engaged in animation, engineering, ride design, and storytelling, culminating in a student-created parade that showcased their work. Most importantly, Passport to Parks was offered at no cost to identified gifted students attending our Title I schools. This assures that there is access to enriching experiences for all of our students, regardless of where they go to school. Our gifted summer camps continue to grow with 515 students participating in Cruising into Summer and Passport to the Parks. This represents a 13% increase in enrollment from summer 2025 and reflects the strong interest in these enrichment opportunities. As the photos demonstrate, students actively participated and engaged in creative hands-on learning throughout both camps. Parent feedback was overwhelmingly positive, highlighting our teachers' dedication and the excitement students brought home each day. As you all know, summer wouldn't be the same without our community ed programs. So this one is our Community Ed Summer Rocks enrichment camps, providing students with a wide variety of opportunities to explore their interests and develop new skills. A total of 155 students participated across 5 camps: Spanish, theater, music, art, and CSI. Theater Rocks had the highest enrollment, followed by Music Rocks, which has been fairly typical over the years. Through these creative hands-on experiences, students build their confidence, collaborate with peers, and remain actively engaged and learning throughout the summer. Our community education enrichment classes offered engaging opportunities for students across a wide range of ages and interests. A total of 463 students participated in programs that included Lego design, robotics, visual arts, indoor sports, karate, and cheer, as well as driver's education. Through partnerships with experienced community providers, these programs gave students opportunities to be creative, active, and challenged while developing, again, those practical skills, confidence in themselves, and new interests throughout the summer. The big one for us is our Sensational Summer Camp, which provides an affordable, engaging option for families while giving students meaningful opportunities to learn, play, and connect throughout the summer. The program served 939 kindergarten through 8th grade students across 4 locations, along with 49 preschool students at 2 locations. A team of 138 leads, instructional assistants, and professionals supported students throughout the program in summer. Campers participated in 7 field trips, learned from 4 guest speakers, and enjoyed daily rotations in STEM, fitness, literacy, and the arts. Free lunches were also available at Park Meadows and Greenbrier. Parent feedback highlighted the program's affordability, strong leadership, engaging activities, and positive experiences students brought home every day. In partnership with Southwest Behavioral and Health Services, Deer Valley offered summer camps focused on developing essential behavioral health skills and strategies. The camp served 31 students across all grade levels. Elementary students at Constitution focused on social skills and healthy coping strategies. Middle school students at Desert Sky strengthened emotional regulation skills, while high school students at Barry Goldwater explored healthy relationships. These age-appropriate programs provided students with practical tools to manage emotions, build positive connections, and support their overall well-being, skills that contribute directly to success in school and in their current life. Aspire Online Academy provided flexible summer opportunities for students to advance, recover credits, and remain on track for graduation. In the middle school hybrid program, all 25 enrolled students successfully passed and were promoted to the next grade. During the first high school session, 1,139 students enrolled, earning 763 credits with a 95% rate. And the second high school session, which I just mentioned, ended this past Friday, served an additional 840 students. Preliminary results also show they have earned approximately 500 credits and another 95% pass rate. Our in-person high school summer school pathways program provided students with opportunities for both credit recovery and academic advancement. From May 25th through June 26th, 293 students participated in 26 course offerings, including 3 honors level math courses. Students earned a total of 194 credits with an overall pass rate of 92%. In addition to our district-wide summer school options, several high schools provided campus-based academic opportunities to help students recover credits and remain on track for graduation. These campus-based programs provide students with additional accessible opportunities to address individual academic needs and continue progressing towards graduation. Providing students with opportunities to recapture credits is essential to helping them remain on track toward graduation. Through all of these high school summer programs that I mentioned, Aspire Online, Pathways in Person, and the individual high school offerings, students were able to address unfinished work, make meaningful progress toward meeting graduation requirements, and begin the new school year in a stronger academic position. This is another one of my favorite slides. This multi-year view illustrates the continued growth and changing needs across our summer programs from 2022 through 2026. Most notably, enrollment in our online high school summer program reached a record high of nearly 2,000 students in 2026. Our gifted summer camps also continued their steady year-over-year growth, reaching their highest participation to date, and Jumpstart maintains strong enrollment and remains an important pathway for targeted academic intervention and recovery. Overall, these trends demonstrate the continued demand for a broad range of summer learning options and help us identify where opportunities may be needed to be sustained or expanded to meet student needs. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention, behind every successful summer program is an incredible team. Deer Valley's summer learning opportunities were possible because departments and schools across the district worked together to support our students, families, and staff. Community education, Aspire, career and technical education, gifted services, EL, immersion, and our many operational and student support departments each played an important role. From staffing, payroll, technology, facilities, transportation, and meals, to curriculum, communication, materials, and student services, every team contributed to the success of these programs. This collage represents only some of the many people behind this work. We are grateful for their collaboration, flexibility, and commitment. Summer learning is truly a district-wide effort, and I know when they get the email from me, usually in October, that our first meeting for Summer 27 will be in December. They all roll their eyes, but they're all there when we call that first meeting. As we look ahead to Summer 27, our focus will remain on these 3 key areas: enrichment, intervention, and academic success. We will continue providing enrichment opportunities for students of all ages, targeted interventions that help close learning gaps over those key summer months, and flexible academic pathways that support advancement, credit recovery, and the path toward graduation. Using this year's participation data, academic outcomes, and family feedback, we will continue refining our programs to ensure they are responsive to student needs and provide meaningful summer learning opportunities across Deer Valley. As I close, these programs reflect what summer learning is truly all about: helping students grow academically, helping them explore new interests, and remain connected and supported over those months. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Galligan. That's some really good stuff. Anybody from the board have any questions or comments? No? Okay. Dr. Finch? Nope. Okay. Ms. Simichek, do you have anything for Dr. Galligan?
No, just once again, thank you so much for all your hard work. My daughter was able to attend some of those of enrichment classes, and yeah, just really grateful for this district and all that they do for our students.
Thank you, Dr. Galligan, for everything. Appreciate you. Next up on the agenda, Dr. Pack, item number 4.
I move that the governing board approve consent agenda items 4A through 4M.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed?
Did you say aye? Did you say aye? I didn't. Passes 4-1, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor. Next item on the agenda, item 5A, Dr. Pack.
I move that the governing board approve professional travel for superintendent to attend the AASA National Conference on Education in Atlanta, Georgia.
Is there a second?
Second.
Dr. Finch.
As you know, this is my 28th year being a superintendent. I've been to this conference 28 times, or 27. And I am on the governing board for the National Superintendents, AASA. So this is all paid for by them. I'm also president-elect of the Arizona chapter of superintendents as well. So that's a part of my function.
Any questions for Dr. Finch on this item? Okay. Do we have any public comment on this topic, Ms. Taylor?
No.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed?
It passes 4-1, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor. Next, item 5B is in Bravo. Dr. Pack.
I move that the governing board approve and ratify employee out-of-state travel, professional development per governing board policy GCCE.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Stephanie voted. Okay, she voted herself. It passes 5-0, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor. Next, item 5C is in Charlie. Dr. Pack.
I move that the governing board accept the administration's recommendation to pre-approve the addenda as presented.
Any second? Thank you. Any discussion? Thank you, Ms. Fisher. Anything further? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed?
And that passes 4-1 also, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor. Next item under preview, 6A, Dr. Finch.
As you know, ASBA hired an attorney who wants to shrink their policy manual and has been shrinking it for the last 2 years. They have now moved on to the B section. And so the first 2 policy revisions are based again on ASBA's review of the B section. Policy revision BEDH, which is public participation at board meetings. Administration, we are recommending to accept ASBA's language as indicated through the track changes. What they are doing is merging BEDI and BEDH onto one page, and then we'll be removing BEDI from the policy manual. So as you see the changes, they basically just took a paragraph and put it on the other one.
Any questions for Dr. Finch on this topic? This is a preview item. We won't be voting on it today. We'll have a couple of weeks to digest this and ask any further questions if there's none at this time.
Yes, if you have any questions over the next couple of weeks, let me know and I'll do some investigating for you. The second one is BJ. That one is the school board legislative program. Again, we're recommending ASBA's language as indicated in the track changes. They are really just changing one little word from the board's choice from may to will participate in conferences that enhance, or from will to may, that will about participating in conferences. So and to learn more about legislative programs that way. So just changing one word in that policy.
Any questions for Dr. Finch on B? Okay, again, you've got a couple weeks to research that. If you have any additional questions, please make sure you send them for review. 6, Charlie, Dr. Galligan.
President Carver, members of the board, Dr. Finch. Policy GCS, Professional Research and Publishing, we are recommending that we accept ASBA's recommendation for a language change. It really isn't major changes. They're not striking out anything. They've just added the words proprietary rights at the top, and you can see that. And then just any time an employee is involved in preparing materials that could have this proprietary right, that it would go before the board.
Thank you, Dr. Galligan. Any questions for Dr. Galligan on 6, Charlie? And please take some time and review it over the next couple of weeks in case there are any follow-up questions when this becomes an action item. Ms. Taylor, did you have a public comment for a policy item?
They can only speak at public comments.
Okay, I didn't know if it was one of the...
It's not action.
Oh, it's not, okay. I apologize. Thank you. Next item up on the agenda, 6, Delta, Arizona School Board Association, proposed 2027 political agenda. All board members should have a packet in front of them. Ms. Semichek, I imagine you've got an electronic version. It is the political agenda for ASBA for this year. Again, this is preview item. We can discuss if anybody feels the need, but there's very few changes this time. Page 2, for those of you at home following along, show the different changes that you might encounter: green text, blue text, red text, and what they mean. A lot of these changes and information will appear to be very similar because we've chewed on this a couple of times, this specific board in specificity. So probably looks familiar as you're going through it. We can give direction to Dr. Pack on how we want her to proceed at the delegate assembly in September. But again, we've got a couple of weeks to review this if there's no questions or discussion on it tonight. Dr. Pack.
Just one note that I would bring up for discussion when we're there on B, establish dedicated funding for research-based early literacy programs. In a lot of research I read, it's research-based, and then there's evidence-based. And so maybe teasing out if it should just be research-based or just evidence-based or research and evidence-based. So just to get their clarification and what our district thinks about
I'm
that.
sorry, what page is this, Dr. Pack?
It's blue text. Number 2, establish dedicated funding for research-based early literacy programs. Just inquiring on research-based versus and/or evidence-based.
Okay, the political agenda will start on page 1. I'm not sure if that's just an example.
example? Okay,
It's, I believe it's just an example, but if you find it in the text,
okay.
I didn't see it on the track changes that are listed in the actual text of the agenda report. But yes, that's a good point. Any conversation or direction for Dr. Pack at this time, or does everybody need some time to digest? Mrs. Fisher.
So, did either of you actually attend where they talk and throw stuff, new ones on?
I'm sorry, what?
Did you attend any of the meetings? Did you have a pre-committee where they discuss and put all these items together?
I've attended all of the delegate assembly meetings.
There's a pre-meeting that, before the delegate assembly. Paul, were you on it this time?
No, I don't know that they've held one since last time we've had the discussion about this. These all look very familiar to the last time we discussed this.
So, do we know why they're expanding some of like the CTED? Is there something specific happening?
Yeah, I can try to speak to it from the last meeting that we did
Because I
have.
haven't seen anything new since then. And the other one is, we already have the fingerprint clearance and whatnot, so are we gonna fingerprint clearance to parents for their children if they're on ESA? Is that what they're wanting to do? Because that's what that looks like.
Well, let's take it one at a time. So the first one you're talking about is on page 1, number 1. Is that
6.
number 6?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I
the
don't see a lot of
first,
barriers.
first
for
page being this one?
It says 6 up in the top corner.
Okay, page 6, I'm sorry. I wasn't following you, I apologize. 4, 5. Yeah, there's not a lot of changes this time around.
Because I just don't really, I haven't seen, unless somebody else knows something different. I work a lot with CTEDs. I haven't had any problems. Is there something specific we should be looking at? Do we know?
No, I think if I remember the conversation correctly, they were just trying to open it up and try to give more strength to the CTEDs, remove barriers to access and advance policies that build the capacity of, yeah, they were just trying to open up the avenue to, I don't know why they think that there's barriers to build capacity in the CTE system, but the majority of the council at the time felt that they needed to add that.
Okay. Because I haven't seen any problems with CTED growing. And
No,
I mean, all high schools are having a ton of CTE programs.
right? I know in most cases, like on page 1, number 1, some of the green for new text was because they were trying to condense, right? There's the B and C are stricken out, and then they're reintroducing B with some rewording there to try to be more concise. That was I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that was the overarching thought process of the committee this last time they met, is they were trying to find ways to streamline. I know that we made a lot of changes last time, that they finally had 2/3 of the folks show up to vote, that they made a lot of progress at the last vote. So I'm not exactly sure where these specific changes came from this time, but they all look very familiar to the last time that we had the platform discussion.
And then the other one is on page 3.
Page 3.
I'm a little concerned with boards in general. If you look at item 15, when they're talking, they've been talking about that cost study at ASBO for, I don't know, the last 20 years. But with ADE having a change in their special education, there's been a lot of districts getting hit with issues with SPEDMO specifically. And I just don't know that that's something that, for a business manager to even understand the nuance of the special education funding and the over year must be always $1 over what you spent last year, regardless of IEPs, I mean, there's some exceptions, but for the most part, you get hit hard. I just don't know that governing boards should be messing with anything having to do with SPEDMO. This is just for a cost study, but again, ASBO has been trying to do that for 20 years. So I just think that might be something you want to ask more questions about and get a better understanding of what their ultimate goal is. Because both with SPED and CTE funding, you end up with that maintenance of effort, and it can really bite districts in the butt.
I agree. I think, boards need to stay in their lane, and I think what I'm
I hate that phrase, but it's
yeah,
such a lane.
I know
but,
a lot of cliches going around nowadays. I apologize about that. I'm wondering though, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is the political agenda that they're giving to the ASBA lobbyists, for lack of a better word, right? So this is
Correct.
what we're asking the legislature to do. So in this case, in number 15 on page 3, ASBA is asking the legislature to look at increasing special education funding by aligning the formula support weights with the most recent special education cost study. So your point is noted, and I think it's important that we make sure that boards aren't making decisions like that. It should be made
Or don't advocate that something that's going to cause more damage
right.
or unforeseen damage.
So
There was a special ed cost study recently done by
Right.
Department of Ed.
Okay.
It's about 3 years old.
So hopefully that's the one that they're referring to when they say the most recent special ed. So I would encourage board members, if this is something that you're concerned about, make sure to do all your due diligence, send some emails to ASBA if need to, do some research on the ADE site to look at special education funding so that we can give good direction to Dr. Pack at the next meeting, at the next meeting. Anything else jump up and catch anybody's eye? Again, we can discuss some more next time around if something wakes you up in the middle of the night. Everybody's fine as wine? All right. Stephanie, I'm sorry, Ms. Simichek, do you have anything?
No, I don't.
Okay, thank you. We appreciate you being online. We know you're not feeling well, so thanks for hanging in there.
Thank you.
We're at call to the public. We have two speakers, Dr. Pack.
The board invites public comment on the district's business in general and on any agenda item in specific. All speakers must observe the rules of decorum. Speakers must fill out a card listing name, address, and topic and hand it to the board secretary prior to the president calling the meeting to order. Speakers must make their comments in no more than 3 minutes. If necessary, to accommodate all speakers within the 30-minute overall limit, the board president may shorten each speaker's time. Constructive criticism is in order. Rudeness, vulgarity, disruptive conduct, or remarks disrespecting personal dignity are not in order and will not be allowed. Under the Arizona Open Meeting Law, the governing board cannot discuss or act on any items not listed on the agenda. Board members may respond to criticism made by a speaker, ask staff to review a matter, or ask that a matter be put on a future agenda. If I could please have Kelly Fisher and Dr. Mateo or Keo approach the microphone and please state your name.
Good evening, President Carver, governing board members, Dr. Finch, colleagues, and community members. My name is Kelly Fisher. I'm a veteran Deer Valley educator and proudly serve as the president of the Deer Valley Education Association. I'm here tonight to once again address the anti-Semitic words and actions of a member of this governing board. At a previous meeting, this board member denied that their actions were anti-Semitic and told those in attendance to do their research. I did. What I found only strengthened my concern. Words, imagery, and rhetoric used have documented history rooted in anti-Semitism. Denying that history does not erase it. So I will say it again. Hate has no place in DVUSD. Anti-Semitism has no place in DVUSD. I believe the governing board member who engages in this should resign. Following the last board meeting, this same board member went on social media, called me a communist, referred to DVA members as terrorists, and suggested that children are unsafe in the classrooms of union educators. These statements are false, reckless, and dangerous. As DVA president, I understand that criticism comes with leadership. This board member can criticize me, but I will not stand silently by while more than 1,100 hardworking DVA members are attacked simply because they chose to belong to their union. They are not terrorists. They are educators who show up every day and dedicate themselves to students and families of this district. They deserve better from an elected official. To the other governing board members, I ask, is this acceptable to you? You may not have the authority to remove this board member, but your hands are not tied. I ask you to consider a formal censure. I ask you to consider whether this board member should hold leadership position on this governing board. And I ask you to consider whether spending district resources to send this individual to conferences and professional development is appropriate while they publicly disparage our district, its leadership, and its employees. Our community has avenues to hold elected officials accountable, but so do you. You have a voice, you have choices, and you have an opportunity to demonstrate that hate, misinformation, and attacks against people who serve this district have consequences. Our Jewish students, employees, and families deserve to know that anti-Semitism will be confronted. Our educators deserve to know that they will not be vilified for belonging to their union. And our students deserve elected officials who model integrity, accountability, and respect that we expect from them. This is your call to action. Stand with your students, stand with your employees, stand with your community, and make it unmistakably clear that hate has no home in Deer Valley. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Mateo Riquijo. I'm a parent and resident of the district. I'm going to speak about item 6A, the BDH. I appreciate that this is a first reading and the board isn't being asked to vote on policy tonight. So that makes it the right time to identify an ambiguity and take the opportunity for the district's governance standards to be clear before final action. As you kindly read out before remarks this evening, the agenda notes on page 11, item 7, that members of the public are not permitted to engage in, quote, rudeness, vulgarity, disruptive conduct, or remarks disrespecting personal dignity, and they will not be allowed. Yet the proposed BEDH, page 184, item D, says that, quote, personal attacks upon board members, staff personnel, or other persons in attendance or by absent individuals who address the board are discouraged. Those aren't the same standard. I recognize the board's responsibility to maintain order and establish reasonable rules for public participation, but the public should be able to find those rules, understand them, and if another policy supplies the stronger restriction stated in the agenda, then that should be cross-referenced in this process. I also think there's a larger governance point here as well. BEDH governs how members of the public address this board. Board members are governed by a separate standard, and board members communicate about district business not only from the dais, but also in public, in the media, and on social media. Those rules don't necessarily have to be identical, but the underlying standard should be coherent and reciprocal. If respect for personal dignity is important enough for this board to regulate how citizens address elected officials, then the public should be able to see just as clearly what standard of conduct is expected when elected officials address citizens, teachers, employees, union members, administrators, and of course, each other. So as the BEDH moves forward, I'd encourage the board not to simply clarify the rules governing this microphone, but to make sure the district's governance framework as a whole is coherent and harmonized. Clear standards for the public, clear standards for elected officials, and accountability to both. If we expect respectful and responsible discourse from the community, we should expect and clearly require the same from those entrusted to govern it. Thank you.
On to governing board reports. Dr. Pack?
So over the summer months, I reviewed some vouchers. They're still coming in. Responded to many emails, read some emails and did not respond, but did some digging, researching parking for high schoolers. And just a reminder to all kids and parents to be good stewards to our community as a whole, whether it be businesses or churches or people's yards and whatnot, trying to teach kids to respect. To respect property and respect boundaries and rules and things. I also attended it was my first time being able to this year, attending the Interfaith Council breakfast, and it was quite a large crowd. I was kind of surprised when I walked in, and hearing people in the faith community wanting to help our district and talking about how they can volunteer. There's a process so they can be rule followers and sign in and get all the background checks and jump in and help. And it was kind of neat, the analogy of how as educators we're much like the faith community. We both have some very similar tasks at hand and goals. So that was good. And I think that's it, but I'm sure there's ramping up for more in the next few months.
Thank you, Dr. Pack. Mrs. Fisher?
Okay. I was going to give you statistics, the number of nasty posts from the Deer Valley stalker terrorist. But there's just so many that it's sad because it's gone on to just pick and add more and more people. Unfortunately, it goes along with our new system of checking our parents. And we had the one parent who was falsely identified. Well, we have this same individual falsely identifying people and then talking about them and then, oops, not that person. So the board's eventually going to have to answer some of this stuff because it's going to cause a liability for the district. And the whole anti-Semitic was created by individual who proudly said, nope, nobody complained, I did this, and I'm proud of it, and I will continue. And the standard, and I think that we need to address, is the reality of free speech. We do have free speech, whether you're on whichever side, and pointing out a dictatorship occurring is not the same as supporting anti-Semitic acts. So there's a whole bigger discussion with that is really just played out to a new level from years ago where, we want to indoctrinate kids because we know better than the parents, to the current statements of today. It's not beneficial. It can continue, but it's not going to change anything. I will not resign. I was elected not by the liberal side of the organization, and I will not just run based on whatever bullying acts that they come up with. It just doesn't work that way. But the one statistic I do want to keep is the number 0. 0 is the amount of information that was responded to regarding the financial questions that were asked at the last meeting. I still would like additional information for the FTEs related to the funds as it's shown in the budget, so that we can look at what those changes are. None of what was asked has been responded to at all. In one of the Friday updates, well, we only had 2 in the last month. The first one talked about how I answer all these questions and I do this. No, not a single question has been answered. In fact, the only email, I've received 3 emails from administration, and they were all really just bullying, and I responded as accordingly, or harassment. I would like to know if we have a policy for all students who come to our district out of the district. We received a complaint about a homeschool parent who was being, their child was not being admitted. The testing issues. I'd like to know what our policy is. I've asked for that before and haven't received that either. The other concern I have is on, and I don't know the answer to this one. I was going to look at my mandatory reporting training that I'm doing. When it's student on student abuse, what are we regulated towards? What is it that we have to do, and are we meeting those standards? Also, what actions are being taken when it's student on student abuse? A lot of times when a student, especially a young student, abuses another student, it's because they themselves have faced abuse. So you've got to be careful not to re-victimize that victim, but rather get them help. I just want to know that we're actually doing that. The complaints that we've seen do not indicate that we are, and I don't know that we are or aren't. I just know that historically over the years, we have received, I've watched several families get just destroyed for daring to complain. And I just really don't want the new group of parents that are filing complaints to face the same awful treatment that they have in the past. I would also like a update on the multiple lawsuits that we have going. I mean, we come in, we get served nonstop. We're being sued by employees, we're being sued by community, we're being sued by, and I get, we got this sarcastic Friday update talking about how, yeah, we got better lawyers, we'll show them. I would like a real update on all the multiple lawsuits that we're involved in. And then we would also like to see the vouchers. So that's it.
Thank you, Mrs. Fisher. Ms. Simichak, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'll make this really quick. I just want to welcome back all of our teachers and staff to the new school year. Our drop-off at Union Park has been super smooth. I know that's always a challenge for many of our schools, and the parents are really doing their part, and the help of all of the staff that's out there constantly greeting students and helping them out of their cars and guiding traffic. So thank you for that, and thank you for welcoming our students into your classrooms. Just really grateful for our teachers in this community. I don't have a ton to say. I do want to bring to light a couple of things that there were some map suggestions that were brought forward that I've had a chance to review, and I would really, like to support a discussion on these maps in the next boundary meeting. There's some really good suggestions, I think, in there, and it talks a lot about that one area right above North Terra Canyon that's currently Sonoran Foothills, but that could bring it down and help relieve some of Sonoran Foothills there. And then also, I just want to touch real base. We had received an email from a community member about the funding of Dr. Finch's professional development, and I do want to remind the community that these costs are funded through the superintendent's professional development budget, and that's part of his contract. So where we hear sometimes you should just not approve it. The reality is it's part of Dr. Finch's contract. So we approved that contract, so we need to make sure that we're following through with what we approved and offered. So that's why that's a yes vote. Other than that, I think that's about it. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Simicek. Appreciate you. Mr. Butfeld.
For 20 years, I ran something called the Crystal Ball Seminar in Las Vegas. And I would use statistics to make predictions. And I'm going to make a prediction in just a second. But one of the reasons that people kept coming back is I admitted when I was wrong. And if I made a wrong prediction, this prediction is not wrong. Arizona is about to enter the worst crime period of its history in the next 3 to 4 years. Why do I say that? Because 50% of the people who don't graduate high school are arrested. 50%. Think about this for just 1 second. After the COVID thing was over, we began to look at our graduation rates. Now, Deer Valley had a 96% graduation rate, and everybody cheered. But in the same year that we got 96%, the state averaged 78%. That is the lowest since 2023, which was the beginning of the recovery from the COVID. If we look at the number of people who didn't graduate, we're looking at putting almost 60,000 people in jail. That's not a pleasant number. Here's another problem. More than 1,000 teachers walked away from the profession last year. Teachers. And what we forget is how important teachers are to the whole process. They are what makes learning possible. Arizona has struggled for almost a decade to retain teachers. Look, I could go on for hours on this. We're the 49th state in terms of funding for education, and yet we've got $360 million sitting in the voucher fund that should go to public education that isn't. Teachers need higher salaries. Teachers need to live, and we're not letting them. I could go on for hours. I'm done.
Thank you, Mr. Botfield. Appreciate you. So to echo some of what's been said up here tonight, I want to welcome everybody back. I had the honor and privilege of making it to every campus the week before the kids came back, and got to meet with the greater percentage of all the principals on each campus, and the spirit was upbeat. Everybody was excited, getting ready. There was high energy. There was good energy. We do a lot of work in Deer Valley Unified School District. The teachers do a lot of work. I was able to speak in a couple of the meetings because I just happened to show up at the right time when the principals were given the marching orders, so to speak, out to their staff, and it was good. It was really good to see how many absolutely wonderful people that we have working in our district. And to Mr. Botfield's point about people walking away from their profession, I was able to meet with a group of law enforcement officers the other day, and we were discussing wages. And wages are a big part of everything. We work because we have to, not really because we, right? Because we need to take care of our families, and wages are important. But I believe there's a lot to be said for, and I draw this correlation between my meeting with the law enforcement officers, because nobody wants to be in law enforcement, because the people, not all of them, but some of the people that have been elected or put in positions of authority or representation over communities and larger entities have decided to target them and make them the villain in everything that goes wrong. And so nobody wants to associate themselves with that, right? And so we've had the same sort of thing happen in education, where somebody somewhere does something wrong and all of a sudden everybody else is guilty by association. So I think Deer Valley does a really good job of creating a very good environment, a strong environment. Does that mean that we're perfect? No, it doesn't mean that we're perfect, but we've created an environment here where people come back and people stay. They stay for extremely long periods of time. I was able to be at the new teacher orientation at Sandra Day O'Connor, and when I was up on stage for just the very few first minutes, I asked for a show of hands of everybody in the room that graduated from Deer Valley Unified School District. And I swear it felt like half of the room raised their hands. That speaks to the culture that we have in our community, not just our district, but our community. Our community is amazing. And so I believe if we continue to develop that and do what we can for our educators to make sure that they are honored and valued with dollars the best that we can, but in the meantime, quality and culture of work environment will go a long way towards buying time until we can figure out how to fix the payroll issue. On other fronts, on July 11th, there was a Radiant Church community event at Barry Goldwater High School. There were several events like this going on in the community for back to school, and I was able to make it to the Radiant Church event that we were hosting over there, and they had food there for kids and families, like ready to eat food, pizza, donuts, and all that sort of stuff. They also had food boxes for these families that were in need. They had clothes for their kids and for families. If they were running a little bit short on that, they had backpacks. And then on top of everything else, they had fun. They had some bounce houses set up in the dance room. They had some video games set up in another room so that the kids could be enjoying themselves while the parents were about taking care of them and making sure that they were set up for a successful school year. We had a lot of events like that. So if you need help in the community, please reach out, and I'm sure that we can find a way to make sure that you have what you need. On 7/16, I was honored to be invited to be part of a meeting at Deer Valley High School. We have a lot of projects in our district with 42 schools. And for those of you that don't know, we have an outdoor science center at Deer Valley High School. We've had it since the early 80s, since Deer Valley High School existed. And it was put on by, I believe, Mr. Flint and Mr. Schwardfager, who are no longer with the district. And we are in a position where we need to reinvigorate and revitalize that area. So we've got some people working on that. If you're in the community and you think that you have something to contribute to that, let us know, because it's going to be a multi-year program to get this thing to what the vision is that Dr. Galligan shared with us. And then on 8/4, Living North Phoenix had a town hall at the Hilton Garden Inn in Norterra. They had a few folks that are community leaders there to talk about North Phoenix, what it looks like, what makes it amazing, and what we can do to keep it that way. And thanks for having me up here to do what it is that I can for that portion of our community to try to keep it amazing. Dr. Finch.
Thank you, Mr. Carver. I have a grocery list, all kinds of exciting things that are happening with obviously the start of the school year. Practices are underway for all our sports teams. Actually, the cloud cover actually has been a welcome sight. So bring the rain, knocks down the heat. We have a fall media day for our sports on this Saturday, 8 to 10. Dr. Pack talked about the interfaith. That was our highest participation we've had in the 9 years I've been here. Also great to see our community of faith wanting to support Deer Valley Unified. And we obviously have a similar mission, and we want to help the community. We are part of the social sector. Principals of the Year, we had Teresa Milks from Noterra Canyon announced a couple days ago, and Assistant Principal of the Year, Danielle Ware from Highland Lakes. So congratulations to those gals, and we'll have them in front of us here later at another event probably. We start handing out trophies when we start doing awards. Frances, our front lady out that answers the door out front in the main lobby, will be retiring tomorrow. So if you want to swing through and say hi to her, I think its party starts 10:30-ish. So we could probably stop by and visit her all day and win her, bring some flowers or something. She'd like that. But we want to thank Frances for her service out front. She gets all the fun that walks through the door with a smile. We've been working with the city of Glendale and the city of Phoenix, kind of the Hatfields and McCoys, trying to get them together again, kind of off Dr. Pack's idea of helping the traffic around Deer Valley High School. And we're making progress there. We're working towards some signals, some yellow signals, so that's making progress. That's good to see those two folks come together. Some of the both parties have retired, and so we got some new kids working on it. So, and one of them, literally a kid. Or maybe I'm just getting old. That could be the problem as well. We're working with Ed O'Connor on that trail idea as we transfer the land over to the city. That's coming together where the community can have access to more trails for hiking, and we can get parking in a trade. So that's still going. Right before this meeting, next door, we had 6 new principals that were introduced to the board members and cabinet as well, and 3 of them are comeback kids that you talked about, people that have gone through the machine at Deer Valley and have come back to serve. So that's pretty exciting. 50% coming back to help out Deer Valley. My Soup Scoop podcast will start firing up here pretty soon. I interviewed 3 of those principals today. It'll be put together probably by the start of next week, so start looking for those. We also will be starting our Superintendent Advisory Council. Those are 80 students that put together a leadership summit for the spring, and that is pretty fun. All representatives from each of the schools for the older kids, and we always look forward to that. And as you know, as Mr. Carver mentioned, this is a great place to work. Once again, Forbes is going to be recognizing us in 2 days for the 6th time out of 9 years as being best Midwest. Yeah, that's good. Best mid-size employer in the state of Arizona. And also, we've been recognized again nationally. This will be our 3rd time in America to be recognized as best mid-size employer for the nation. That's a big deal, and it's obviously a reflection of our staff and the machine that works together to continuously improve. So thanks to you folks, we'll be receiving that honor in the next couple days. Also mentioned, we're triple checking our math, and it looks like all 100% of our schools will be rated A or B from the state this year. So that's another one. That's the first time in our history, and it looks like we're also up more kids above projection. So that's good to see. Again, our high schools are full, and it looks like that's a trend that's going to continue. Last but not least, we're finishing up our extraordinary achievements, and looks like hopefully we'll hit our 70 state titles in CTE, academics and fine arts, and athletics. So for the 4th year in a row. So the machine rolls on, keep up the great work. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Finch. Future board meetings can be found listed on the district website. Do we have a motion to adjourn tonight's
So
meeting?
moved.
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Thank you, Ms. Simichek. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Drive safe. Have a good night.